Good evening, YouTube world. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Welcome, guys, to episode 3 of the Junk Family. We got a stacked crew of people coming in today, and we have the link in the chat for anybody that wants to join. It'll allow me 10 people at a time. We got to save a spot open for Andrew Thompson's going to be popping in a few minutes. He's running a little behind. But hey, guys, if you're in the chat, you have any questions, if you want to come on live, you're more than welcome. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce tonight's guests. We got Kevin Hess.
What's going on, team?
We got Sonoma Strong, Matt Vick, and Jojo Vick in the house.
What's going on, Junk Family? Let's do this.
Hell yeah. So first off, I got a lot of people that are going to be popping in as we're talking and all, but I wanted to start off with the big news of the community, and that is the Junk Expo coming up. You guys just announced it. I am so excited about this. It is a 2-day event this time. Oh my God, that is just, you can't get better than that. So Matt and Jojo, want to give us a little details and everything?
Oh, yeah. Junk Expo 2025. We are so excited, and just, like you said, 2 days. So instead of just 1 day full of information, we're doing 2 days. 1 day just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to network. It wasn't enough to have like all the fun. It wasn't enough to like soak up all the knowledge that is dropped on you at the Junk Expo. And, we handpicked our speakers because they're good people. They're good, solid people. And each one has such strong strengths, right? So we keep our eyes open, and we know people, in the junk community. And when they are really starting to do some amazing things, we like to acknowledge that. So, we have Abel this year, who is doing so much about PR, public relations, and we chose him for that because he's out there in his community and he is growing his business that way. And, Dave from Junk MD, we handpicked him because he is really shaking some boots on social media with his creative posts that he's doing that is really engaging his community. And it's just, we handpicked certain people because of the value that we know that they could bring to people, because we want people at the Junk Expo to be able to write down certain things that they're not implementing in their business that they could do when they leave the Junk Expo that doesn't cost them any money. It's just certain things that they're going to see and they're going to be like, why are we not doing that? Like, we should be doing that. It doesn't cost anything, takes a little time. And we're going to pretty much show you how to become a celebrity in your area.
So one of the reasons why I picked Abel from Temecula is because if I think about junk removal in LA, he is the first person I think of. I think Abel. And when I think of San Diego junk haulers, the first person I think about is Junk MD. These guys are out there killing it. We got Xavier's going to be there as a speaker. Kevin's going to be there too. He's going to have a booth. There's going to be so much knowledge in the room. So if you're a hustler, you're about your money, you want to learn the tricks, how to make more cash in the junk business and do stuff without paying for a bunch of ads, because we've been in the business for 8 years. We never paid for Google ads once. So this year, me and the Jojo are going to be speaking on branding, how we get a bunch of these realtors on the team, and how we utilize Facebook. So it's a must. You got to be at this expo. It's going to be a 2-day event at the same price. And people, I'm telling you right now, get your tickets before they sell out. Because last year I had a bunch of people blowing my phone up.
Waiting to the last minute.
I was like, you know what? The tickets are gone. I'm sorry. And they kept asking me, are you going to do it next year? Are you going to do it next year? I had so many people emailing me and texting me saying, are you guys going to have another Junk Expo 2025? I talked to the Jojo and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. We had so much fun. In the networking, meeting haulers like you, meeting Kevin, meeting so Xavier, fun. Meeting Andrew is priceless. Just hanging with some go-getters for 2 straight days. It's going to be off the hook.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Sippy Hall says, when the cigar rose fires up, that's when I know on the right podcast for tonight. Hell yeah, Sippy Hall. brother. Sippy, you making the trip over for the Junk Expo, man? We got to smoke some cigars over there October 24th and 25th. Definitely got to get in there for that. And I'm going to vouch for them, guys. So I was at that first one. It literally was like the very, very beginning for me. I was about a month in. I didn't even start my business. Wasn't up and running. Was just kind of learning right then. So I didn't know too much, but I was like a sponge that day. I sat front row center. I had my camera set up. I was just like taking notes, soaking it all in, listening to all the speakers. And each speaker, they show their superpowers. You know, each person has found success in the junk industry, and it's a different path for each person. And that's what I find so like inspiring. And it's not just one route to get there. You know what I mean? So I was just like kind of amazed at that. But now this one, I'm going in there more prepared. I really understand the industry. I'm living it now. I'm working it every day. I've talked with a lot more people in the industry. And I got to say, Matt and Jojo, I thank you so much for all these new guest speakers that you are added on there. Now I get to learn about them. Now I get to see their superpowers, because I didn't know about these people before. You know, I started thinking I was like, I knew the circle, I knew everybody, I knew the top dogs and everything. And then you introduce these new people, and I'm like, and I'm reading about them, and I'm like, oh my God, like how didn't I hear about these people before? So it's like, it's really exciting, you know, for me, and just to keep learning these different superpowers. And I got to say, with like Kevin Hess, you have taught me so much, brother, and you don't even understand it, bro. Like, I watch you just answering people back in Facebook groups, man, like just little random comments you give back in answers, and I learn so much. I find myself screenshotting everything you say and kind of just logging in my head, and I try it out on all my calls. Like, you know, today I actually did, you know, some of the things they did. I called on the way there, and I was just like, you know, I'm gonna stop and gas up. Wanted to see if you wanted a coffee or water or anything. And it's just like those little details that, you know, you never would have thought of, that you're like, wow, simple things like that brings a smile to these clients' face. So when you roll up, they feel like they already know you. They're all happy. Like the energy is just a great feeling. So it's
100%.
just, it's great stuff like that I'm learning. And with that, we got a couple more people that have just popped on. Let me bring them on stage right now. We got Jamie in the house, and we got Andrew Thompson from Autopilot. And guys, I gotta say, I am so proud of you, Andrew. Today he kicked off his new YouTube channel. He's starting a fitness journey. He's, you know, documenting everything through. He's using TRT, which for you guys that don't know, that is testosterone replacement therapy. And you know, anybody that's over 35 years old, any male, you know, they could benefit from this, because our natural testosterone levels start dipping back. So Andrew's gonna kind of track us all the way through that. Who's giving a little feedback? Jamie, is that yours right now? Let me just try. Is that yeah,
I got headphones in, so cool. We good?
Yeah, I think we're good. We're good right now. Jamie, whenever you want to say, just let me know, because I think we got some feedback coming from your line over there. But how are you, Jamie? How you doing today? Is your audio working right now? We can't hear you right now at all. There's something going on with that. We'll let you work that out. We'll come back to that. There we go. We got what's up, Steve? What's going on? Steve is in the house. Junked on, junked off, brother. How you doing tonight, bro?
Dude, what's going on,
Steve? Right now. Look at these nice people. They were buying some of my. Anyway, I'll let you get back.
Hell yeah. Thank you for joining, bro. Thank you, man. We appreciate it, man. Hell yeah. I love seeing everybody out in the field and all. Andrew, so brother, tell us a little about, man, what's going on in YouTube world with fitness and Andrew.
Yeah, man. It's been, hold on, let me pull up okay, now I can see myself. What's up, man? So I've been talking to my boy David Leddick down in San Diego for a long time now. Have you talked to David Leddick yet?
No, I haven't. No, not yet.
You got to get him on the channel, bro. He just hit 650 days of 50 pull-ups without missing a single day. He turned his life around, and he's been on my ass. He's like, Andrew, you're fat. You got to lose weight. Maybe not like that, but he's been like, dude, he's like, anytime you need help. And then when you came onto the scene, I was like, damn it, I got two healthy motherfuckers who keep on pushing me. And I'm like, okay, I got to do this. I've been wanting to do it for 8 years. I used to have a fitness app back in the day. We used to have like a nutritionist who we made meals for the fitness app. We had Summer Rae as our business partner. She was a big booty model. We had booty programs. We had all these fitness programs on our app. And I actually used to go to the gym like a few times a week 8 years ago. I have not been to the gym in 8 years. So all these muscles that you guys are seeing, this is just
Don't hurt nobody. Relax over here. You need a license for those guns, bro.
No, but real talk, man. I've been really unhealthy for a long time, Paul, and I make jokes about it, to like poke fun and make me feel good, like not feel bad about it. But I have trouble going upstairs without catching my breath now, like literally. And I'm almost 40. I got 2 kids. We want to have another kid, and it's not acceptable anymore. Like I need to turn my health around. And you got me pumped up, Paul. I'm not going to lie, you and David. So I decided to publicly put myself out on YouTube because now YouTube's like my thing. Like it's what I'm consistent at, my software, my work, and YouTube. So I figured if I put my big old belly out there, and I tell everybody, wait till you see me at the Junk Expo in 2025, October, because I feel like now so many people have messaged me. They're like, Andrew, you could do it. Now I feel like, holy shit, I have to do it because this is going to be embarrassing if I don't do it.
Hey, that belly's pretty damn big too. I ain't gonna lie. That's like the
I
best
was
video
in
you ever
shock,
did.
bro. Yeah, I was in shock when I seen that. I was like, you hide it well, brother.
Dude, why do you think I only wear baggy black shirts? Come on, guys. That's why yeah.
I love it, man. But we're all going to be following. And my man Drew said, Andrew, you see my message on your first video on your new channel. Drew is the.
I did, Drew. I saw the notification. I haven't read it, but I'm going to read it as soon as I'm off this live. I'm really excited to see because I saw it was a really long one. I was like, oh, shit, I'll read that as soon as I'm off this next live.
Well, just letting you know, Drew is the man from the arm wrestling world. He's my moderator for all my channels and everything. He is the man. He's really supportive, and he's always the first on anybody's live, man. He takes pride in that. So shout out to Drew. Appreciate it.
Does he know what he's talking about then too? If he's an arm wrestling guy?
Yes, he does. Yeah, okay. Real strong dude out of Las Vegas. I want to introduce, guys. We got Vinny and Sarah from Loadrunners down in LA. What is up, guys? How you doing tonight?
How you doing, Paul? What's up, Paul? No.
So, guys, I shouldn't even ask. I already know the answer. You guys are coming up for the Expo October, right?
For sure.
For sure.
Hell yeah. It's gonna be great times, guys. So I want to bring up this topic, guys. Big things going on in the industry as far as us getting on television. We had the new reality show is out, Filthy Fortunes. Did anybody get to see that? It comes on Sunday nights, 10 p.m. on the West Coast. Anybody get to see that?
So we watched it. It was pretty good. Yeah,
we watched it. We only watched one episode though, so we got to watch the others. But it's interesting.
Is it like actual junk removal, or is it like finding things?
It's junk. So it's a mixture. So what happens is we got a team, and on the team is the leader is Matt Paxton, and he calls himself a downsizer expert. And what he does is he goes in there and he's got an appraiser who really knows his stuff with the prices, and he's got a junk removal team. And what I think they do is whoever's local in the area, I think they might hit up like junk removal companies and offer them, like, if you guys come and do the services for free, you're going to get exposure and to be on the show. That's what I'm hearing, because somebody, when I put it up, somebody hit me up and they're like, we were asked to be on it, but we would have to do it for free, and they couldn't do their services for free, but anyways, it seems a really great show. I enjoyed it. The first 3 episodes. The last episode they just shot in California. They did one in Santa Cruz. They did one in Inglewood, and it was real entertaining, guys. So if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely get over to Filthy Fortunes. It's on Discovery Channel every Sunday night, and I'm working on getting in touch with Matt Paxton. If anybody has any connections to him, I just wanted to get him on interview and kind of pick his brain and find out what they're doing with the show and what the plans are. And some of the junk removal companies I just want to make mention on episode 1 was Junk Shot, what I think it's a new up and coming franchise. I think they might be out of Maryland to begin with, but that's who was featured on that one. And then on episode 3 in California, they had Just Junkin', And then they also own Just Thrifting. I think they're in like Santa Cruz area. I'm not positive though, because they did 2 episodes, one Santa Cruz, one Englewood. So I don't know if anybody knows like any of those companies or anything, but if you do, just I want to get in touch with them and see if we get them on the channel, kind of just find out like what went behind the scenes and what's to come and all that stuff. So definitely check it out, guys. Definitely something to look into. And what's your guys' thoughts on us getting exposure on the big screen? Is that a good thing? Is it something that we want to do, or we don't need that because now we're gonna have a bunch of new people jumping into the junk removal industry?
Well, I think a lot of that stuff is staged for sure. I mean, I love the show. I love the entertainment. I love them trying to find stuff. But as a junk hauler, if a house has been sitting there for 10 years, there's going to be dust. There's going to be spider webs. There's going to be all kinds of stuff there. You know what I mean? But it is entertaining, though, for sure.
Yeah, we noticed that it looked really clean for stuff that had been packed there for 10 years. So.
Yeah, and any reality show, I've taped quite a few of them, and I've been a part of them. What they do is they don't actually tell you what to do, but they give you options. They just say, it could be cool if something like this happened, or maybe like something like this. Now, if you go and do the take and they didn't see anything like that, they'll be like, I wasn't really feeling that. Maybe go toward, and that's kind of like how they go with everything. And they're always trying to find like something interesting or, some sort of drama or something. So it is definitely different with junk removal. And I was trying to figure out like where they're going to go with it. But I think they were going to go with like finding very, very expensive items in houses and how much money they're making and all that, which is kind of cool.
It's kind of like Antique Roadshow meets, junk removal meets hoarder cleaners.
Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you a little secret about one of those reality shows. You ever watch Storage Wars?
Yes, I did.
Do you know that they actually buy the stuff that's in those storage units from junk removal companies and just put it in there for the show to stage it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first got into my antiques and collectibles business, that's what it was that show that got me into it. And my boy he was in that for many long years. And he was like, bro, you are the perfect character for this. I want to get on TV. You need to start coming to these auctions with me. So I started going, man. It was like 10 years back. And, that first one that I hit, I killed it. I got like 3,000 Zippos, all kinds of collectors. And I had no idea, my boy's like, we hit the jackpot. And he was putting on these Zippos on eBay, like $500 a Zippo. It was crazy. So from that, I opened the antique and collectible business and all that. And that's how I got into that business. But it goes very, very similar with the business we're in, and like my old partner in antiques, he actually teamed up with a junk removal company in New York. And, they work very good together. And that's kind of what's going on with this show as well.
So
the only thing I don't like about the new show is the shows like hoarding and stuff, the hoarder show, is that they, like from my psychology background, is that you cannot do that to a hoarder and expect them to get rid of all that stuff in one day and it'd be okay. You know what I mean? That it's just not a thing that happens. You're going to have to take it little by little. If they're living, like if somebody's died, that's a whole different thing. But like you said, Matt and Jojo, it's more of like a stage kind of thing. And that makes me worry about the people that seriously do have hoarding disorder, because you have to take that stuff room by room if they're alive. You know what I mean? It's not like that, like hoarding, because you see people crying and, them threatening them. And that's not real life. It's just not.
I'm interested to hear from Matt and Jojo.
This is off subject real quick, but I'm going to tell you guys about a hustle that Steve got. Steve got a good ass hustle out there in Arizona. He put me on this a while back when I was hunting out there. There's a big ass flea market out there. Steve, tell them how much money you were making out there, bringing all the trash from the stuff you were finding, all the junk you were finding out there in Arizona.
Well, a lot of times I was just propping up my business here during the tough times because in the winter it's kind of. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would prop up my business here, and so it was a great thing. I would go down there and I would just take a 26-foot box truck and throw a mat in there, and I'd shower at the truck stops and stuff. I ended up making $40,000 during that time I was there. And it's not a lot, but like for me it was because it was like a vacation. I did that for years. I stopped going to Arizona though because everything changed a lot. So it just changed. It got when there's something really good, a lot of times other people come and then they change it. So a lot of people started moving from California and stuff and changing that town. But
there are a lot of flea markets there though. There's a lot. I used to live there. There's a lot of flea markets there.
So
Big
that was a
time.
huge flea market. Like the whole city was a flea market. It was crazy. I drove through there when I was hunting and shit. Me and my dad, I'd be pulled over. I'm like, what the hell is this? I just seen parking lots and parking lots. And Steve hit me up like, I'm over here right now with my box truck selling shit. I was like, damn.
That reminds me, Matt, it's like Sebastopol by us, man. That whole town, everywhere you go, every other store is antique and some sort of flea market, or Sunday they got that mega flea market over there and all. Have you guys ever gone over there looking for business or anything like that?
No.
No, we haven't.
Okay.
We haven't done that.
So let's talk about some other topics that's been coming up. And well, actually, you know what? Before we get into that, I want to get into a new segment we're going to be adding to this show, and that is 15 minutes customer connections with Kevin. Because I want to say, Kevin is the man when it comes to customer service. And I just want to dedicate part of this show, 15 minutes every time we do a Junk Family. And we're just going to focus on customer service, because I feel like that's really could help a lot of people out and all. So anybody in the chat, if you guys have any questions for Kevin as far as customer service, please feel free to put it in the chat. And anybody on screen right now, let's talk customer service for the next 15 minutes, guys. So I'm marking the time right now. Let's go, Kevin.
Hell yeah. Bring me on. Bring those questions in. How about any of you guys? You guys got any questions?
Well, I guess before you guys open it up, can I just make a quick, totally off-topic thing? So, Paul, I don't want you to judge me because we're going to have a call later. So I don't want any of you guys to think this is actual soda, that I'm just like on a diet and drinking soda. This is the Diet Zero Sugar, which, Paul, I have so many questions about Diet Coke. I'm going to ask you when we talk. You don't need to tell me if I'm doing it wrong or right now, but just realize, guys, it's diet. Okay. It's zero sugar, 0 calories. Okay. Anyways,
I heard diet was worse for you than regular because of
yes.
the
We're gonna get into that on that conversation. But the one thing I do want to say, and Sarah knows this because I know she's been paying attention to my new fitness channel, is at the beginning. Ooh, we're getting some feedback somewhere. At the beginning, all I want everybody to drink is water for now. The reason why, Andrew, is that Diet Coke tastes so damn good. It's going to make you never want to drink water. So when you're drinking that water, it's going to be plain. But if you just stick to water, man, you're going to actually enjoy it, bro. But as soon as you have something with flavor.
I'll do it for you.
I'm on a 3-day water fast right now. 3 days water fast.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to start just doing water, but you can do it, Andrew.
I can do it. I'm going to get it on autopilot too, where I don't even have to think about it. It's just going to happen.
There you
go. So Kevin, sorry, I didn't mean, I just wanted to,
throw that out there. Perfect time. It's 5:25 over here. So 15 minutes starting now. So I want to kick this off with just a quick question and everything. And it's not really a question. I just want to see like a procedure that you follow as far as you get a phone call in and you're on your way to the job. Like, what are the steps that you approach this as?
Oh, you mean like the call ahead?
The call ahead. How do you train your employees to handle it, like on the way there, when they leave? Like, do they have like a protocol they got to follow?
Yeah, we typically, giving the customer a call about 15 to 30 minutes before their promise window, just kind of getting them, kind of introducing yourself, hey, good morning. This is Kevin with Survivor Junk Removal. I was hoping to speak with, whatever the customer's name is, and it's always a good thing to kind of introduce yourself first instead of asking for like Mrs. Smith, because, when you're calling somebody and they're like, oh, can I speak to Mr. Smith? Like, oh, he's either a bill collector or, trying to sell me something. So it's always good to actually identify yourself first. And then once you talk to them, you're like, hey, the reason I'm calling is to confirm your appointment today between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock. We have your address listed as this and this and this. You specify your ETA. Even something as simple as, hey, is there anywhere particular we should park when we get there? Kind of shows that, kind of care about their property, instead of, if they don't want you on their driveway, then, you park in the street or whatever. But you utilize that as you're starting building rapport with the customers, and everything's confirmed. So you're like, all right, perfect. I had a quick question. I was just wondering, what type of project you and your me and my partner want to know what kind of project you're working on, so that we're going to be helping you today, because you're trying to identify their value keys right off the bat. and you're trying to build that rapport. It's like, awesome, we can definitely help you out there. But the most important part of that conversation is, you're planting that seed for finding more junk before you get there. Because, if you're going out to a job and it's just a single item, a sofa or a mattress or just a couple things, the thing is, that's just the project they're working on. 99% of the time they have more junk, but they're not thinking about it because this is the project they're working on. Single items are the easiest thing to upsell. You come out there and you're like, hey, we just wanted to let you know, take a look around before we arrive, make sure there's nothing else we can, help you get rid of or donate today. Like you can start naming off stuff like mattresses, TVs, brush piles, and let them know, hey, we're fully licensed and insured, which means we can go anywhere in your home, and then start listing off places that they're not thinking about: the basements, the attics, the crawl spaces, the backyards. And then what me and Matt were talking about, the sheds, if they have a barn, the things that they don't think about at that time. But that kind of gets the gears going in their head. They're like, hey, you're coming to get a sofa, but my husband's been procrastinating about getting that crap out of the basement for the past 9 months. While you're here, do you mind taking a look at it? So you might have gone to pick up a $150 sofa, but you're going to leave with 2 truckloads because their basement is jam packed full of stuff. So yes, that helps you make more money, but guess what? You just exceeded the expectations of the customer as well.
I love
it's
it.
a win-win situation. You're going to make more money, your truck team makes more money, and the customer, you just exceeded their expectation and blew them away. Now she's going to be super happy, and she gets to rub it in her husband's face that I took care of this or whatever. But during those things, and what we were talking about, Paul, and when you're giving that call ahead, you plant that seed, and then hey, we'll be there in about 20-25 minutes. Me and my partner, we're going to stop and fuel up really fast. You want me to grab you a coffee? I know it's early. I can grab you a coffee if you want. Just a little thing like that. It just, again, you're exceeding their expectations. Who the hell offers to bring them a coffee or a water, on a hot day or somebody? What service does that? They're coming out to clean your carpets. There's nobody going to do that. The guy's cutting down your trees or, pressure washing your house. They're not going to do that. So you're exceeding, their expectations right off the bat. Now, when you show up to their house, they feel like they know you already. You've already talked to them. You already started that, rapport with them. They feel like they know you when you show up. So they like you already. They already trust you. They already, man, this guy just offered me coffee. I love this dude. So why would they say no to me when I give them a price later on? Does that make sense to everybody?
100%, brother. And like I said, I tried that out today, on the way there, half an hour before. I said, I'm just going to stop off and gas up. Can I get you anything, water or coffee? And they're like, oh my God, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. But no. And it just changed everything when I got there. It just set the tone and all. And then another thing that I did today was, they wanted the mattress removed from the second floor. It was a king size mattress. And I was like, no problem and everything. And then, after we were done with that, the lady, she was an elderly lady, and she was just like, do you think you could help me just bring up the new one? She's like, I have it downstairs and I just need it brought up. And I was like, no problem at all. And she's like, do you want something? And I was like, no, not at all, we got you for that. I said, you know what I would if you were happy with his service, if you would just leave me a review, that would be great. And she was so happy. The second I left there, she put the review down there. And so it's just like small things like that going overboard for them. It really shows them, and it gets you a lifetime customer. I think I remember hearing Matt Vick saying that in junk removal, I think it's a customer is over a lifetime is worth like $5,000. Is that correct? Did you say something like that?
Yeah, I would say about $5,000. They'll keep calling you back over and over again. And one thing too, I would do, if you see someone pulling in their trash cans when you're pulling up, what me and the Julio would do is we'll hop out and pull that trash can in for the customer. People just love that customer service. Make sure you just treat them good and they'll treat you good.
Even if you see
golden, you can't beat it.
If you see a newspaper on their driveway, go run down and grab it and bring it to them personally. Little things like that. And Matt's right. The lifetime value of a customer is at least $5,000. So, that's why you should always find a way, never walk away from a job. You know, there's always going to be a way to get something. You have to get some type of revenue in that truck, even if they can't afford the full, you know, service that you came to pick up. There's priority items that you can get to actually get some type of money that'll work within their budget, you know, especially go after the hard, heavy stuff that, you know, they can't take care of their own. So, you know, hey, you know what, you can still work with them. You might not walk away with the full $1,500 that the whole job costs, but you walk away with $500 worth of stuff, you won, you know, because if you walk away and say, hey, you know, you don't have 1,500, bye, you're not my customer. Guess what? You just lost money because you have to pay for that fuel to get there. You have to pay for your guy's salary. You have to pay for maintenance, you know, all that stuff. And you're losing money. So find a way to get some type of revenue in that truck. I always say grit, get revenue in the truck.
Kevin, how do you deal with getting reviews? How do you go about that?
Typically, I always start the process when I go to explain how the service works. The last part of it, I always let them know, you know, hey, you know, if you basically, actually, I'll show you right here. When I explain the service, I have this on the back of my price list. I have this couple little icons to make it really transparent how, you know, to kind of explain my service. You know, I let them know, hey, we walk through, take a look at everything you have, give you a thorough evaluation of everything. We give you a free, no obligation estimate on the spot. If you're good with it, you know, we can start as early as today. And if at any time I'm not giving you a 5-star service, let me, you know, come tap me on the shoulder and let me know. And I plant that seed at the very beginning so that when I finish the job, it's going to be really easy to get a Google review because it's, you know, when they're paying and I'm, you know, kind of reminding them of their, you know, value and that we had for them. I always say, you know, hopefully I gave you a 5-star service today. Yes. Well, great. Well, you know, I started off, I have a QR code on my price list that, that will take them straight to my Google reviews, but I actually got one of those cards where you just tap on their phone and it takes them straight to the Google reviews. They always plant that seed at the very beginning. I got it free. Everybody's friend Russ Berry decided he wanted to send me one. He was getting some ready and he reached out to me and sent me one.
I am getting friendly with Russ.
I want to shout out a couple people in the chat. We got my man Cisco. What is up, brother? Come on, join, man. We got the link on the top of the chat, man. It's open to everybody. Cisco's he's been helping me out a lot, man. I appreciate all the knowledge he's been sharing.
Cisco's a great dude. You know, he actually attended my very first on-site experience training. He's a really good dude. I love Cisco.
Oh yeah. And then on the road with Ram Rican, my New York homie. Come on, brother. You're more than welcome to join, man. I told you that the other day. I started talking with him. Guys, check out his YouTube channel, man. He shows everything out on the truck, and you know, he's working around New York City, which that's definitely a real quick place to work, hustle and bustle over there. So I'd love to hear from you, brother. If you want to come join, just go scroll all the way to the top, and the link is, I think it's the first comment, and you just click that, come in, and I'll let you come on stage. Also, I want to introduce, we got Merica Junk Boss in the house. Bean, how are you doing?
Hey, Bean.
Your audio is not on right now. We can't hear you.
America.
There you go. And Drew says we need to get this channel 1K subs, get those thumbs up, make YouTube algorithm recognize. Yeah, guys, if you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up button. Let's get out there. Let's spread the word around the community, guys, for sure. Ram Rican, Junk Hole Pros, happy to be in the room. I appreciate it, guys. Look forward to meeting with everybody. Yeah, brother, I hope you come across the country, man. October 24th and 25th, we got the Junk Expo going down in Santa Rosa, California. And, of course, you come, bro. I'll roll out the red carpet from you. A fellow New Yorker coming into town. I'll show you around. I'm 15 minutes away from Matt and Jojo and the venue and all. So this is my neck of the woods as well. So come on through. Everybody is invited for sure. Drew has just attached Merica Junk Boss's YouTube channel, or is that Ram Rican? I'm not sure whose that is, but somebody's YouTube. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate that. Just let us know whose it is. And guys, I want to know what other questions do we have for customer service? And you know, does any of these practices that Kevin was just talking about, has anybody tried them on the truck? Or you know, how about like Sarah? Yeah, Sarah. Let's hear what you guys got to say about that.
I have a question for Kevin. So this is the first time this situation had happened to us. We get a call the other day. It's for a single item pickup. I give her the price. She says, okay, come on over. We're on the way. We send her the text letting her know we're on the way, ETA and everything. And about I want to say like 5 to 7 minutes before we arrive, a man calls from her phone and says, hey, I want to cancel the junk removal order, and then just hangs up. How would you, what would you do in that situation?
Oh man, it happens. Sometimes, a lot of times, the wife will call and have you come, to come in because they're tired. They're, like I mentioned before, they're tired of their husband not actually doing it. So sometimes they'll, get pissed off and say, hey, we don't need anybody to come out here and everything else. If he gives you, if you get the opportunity to actually speak with him, that way you can kind of explain how your service works and kind of start really establishing the value of your service to him. It's a lot harder. I mean, you can call back after he hangs up on you, but obviously if there's an issue,
You could just be like, I think we just got disconnected, and then
Yes,
start pitching
perfect.
it like that.
Oh, I think we got disconnected. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that, how our service works and everything else, and just be professional with them. Just kind of, start building a conversation with him. If whatever way you can, then he start to like you and he'll start to trust you, and you just building that rapport with him, and just, be it personal, because everybody really trust people that they like. I guarantee you that Matt Vick goes into a customer's house, he probably closes almost every single one of his jobs because he's a likable person.
Yeah.
And people like that and they trust him, right off the bat. Now you start learning how to do that intentionally and start training other guys to do that intentionally, and create other Matt Vicks. You can have a whole team of them and have that as part of your training, but back to your question, it's just about being personal with people. And if you get that opportunity before he hangs up on you, or like, Paul said, call him back and say, hey, I think we got disconnected. I just wanted, if he has, try to find out what his objection is. Why doesn't he want you to come? Does he think it's too expensive, or, they don't have time, they're not ready to do it now? Find out what his objective is. Find out what their, challenges. What you said, they were picking up one item.
Yeah,
What kind of item was it?
It was
a pillow cover, like a bed cover.
A bed cover for a truck. And
Okay.
so
let me ask you an important question.
Yeah.
Why were they getting rid of it?
She said it was her mother-in-law's house and it had been there forever and she just wanted it gone. When I gave her the price, she asked somebody, like she confirmed with someone else while she was on the phone. And then she was like, oh, they want this much for it. And then she was like, okay, bring them over. Okay. And then she told me to come over. So it's like she had already got the okay from whoever else she was talking to. But then he called, he like thought about it within those like 20, 30 minutes,
Yeah, it's always important to find out why they're getting rid of the junk, because that way you can cater, a solution to them. You're not just a junk removal service. You actually will cater a solution to whatever challenge that they have. So if you get the opportunity to talk, you already established that value to the lady you talked to. You didn't have that opportunity to do it with the husband that called and hung up on you. So, call him back, try to start that conversation with him, and try to really establish, hey, I know you guys are getting rid of that because of this and this and this, and then cater your solution. Hey, if it's taking up too much space that they have, hey, we'll get it out of there. You'll have your space back, and right away, or they didn't have time to do it themselves. Hey, we'll go in there. We'll knock that out in 10 minutes and we'll, you can go on with your day. Or maybe it's an effort thing. It's really heavy. Hey, don't worry about it. We got 2 strong guys coming out here or 1 strong guy, 1 strong woman to come out here and take care of that for you. That shows the value of your service, because you just offered them a solution that caters to whatever challenge they have. I always go off of those 3 things: that time, space, or effort. It's usually one of those things. Sometimes it's multiple things. It could be time and space. They don't have time to do it and they need that space back by the weekend or what have you. but those things are usually what everybody called you about. It's either going to be time, space, or effort. That's their value key. And you have to find out why that is so that
The
you can
why
establish.
Kevin, you taught me that, like, to really ask that, like, why, or in some way to figure out why they want to get rid of it. Like, you taught me that, and I really, really appreciate that. I do.
Can I say something?
Sure, Steve.
Yeah. I've gotten a lot of jobs. Like when I'm on the phone, I'll just tell them, I'll give them other solutions other than me. Right. And almost every time I do that, I get the job. Like I give them all kinds of solutions. You can take it to Goodwill. You can put it on Craigslist. I say stuff like that. But the whole time I'm doing it, I know that I'm going to get the job anyway. Somehow I do. And so, Kevin, you're spot on.
You're exceeding their expectations by doing things like that.
Another thing I do is, like, I'll walk around, I'll see something stupid on the ground, like a little piece of color, because I'm really anal about getting rid of all the color in the yard. Like if there's a red piece of something or a blue piece, I pick it up. But I do it in front of the customers because sometimes they see you do that. I don't say nothing. I just pick it up and put it in my pocket, and a lot of times they go on the extra mile. They really love that. But I'm glad to be a part of this group. You guys are all kicking ass, man. I'm loving this stuff. You guys are
hell yeah,
very inspiring, very inspiring. So, anyways, back to business. I'll shut my mic off.
Well, I want to introduce everybody. We got a new person in the room, Merica out of New York. What is up, brother? How you doing tonight?
What's going on? Appreciate
it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man. It's definitely a blessing to be in this group, and look forward to the future videos, chats that's going on.
Hell yeah, man. You have any customer service questions? We're doing 15 minutes with customer service with Kevin, and he's like a customer service guru. So any questions, Kevin's taking them right now. So if you have anything, shoot right now, brother. You got the floor.
Perfect. No, I think that everybody answered pretty great with all the questions that they had and concerns that they wanted to present and bring up today. I myself am been in customer service for over 25 years. That's something that I pride myself on, and I think that definitely gets you further and into different rooms based on your character and how you present yourself with your customer service.
Hell yeah. And brother, shoot out your YouTube channel, man, because I want to get it out there. I just found him in the last week, and he's doing his thing over there. I was binge watching all your videos and all, and very informative stuff. And I got to say, man, you got the hustle, man. You're over in NYC doing junk removal.
Man,
That's got to be crazy over there, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. It's definitely a big hustle, man. So I appreciate it, man. So the YouTube channel is On the Road with Merica, RAMRICAN. So
I'm gonna put it up right now. I think my man Drew shared it a little above. So let me share that for everybody right now. Here we are.
Perfect.
Bada bing. Everybody click on that. Go over there and subscribe.
Yes,
definitely follow him. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a hustle and bustle. I got into the game a couple of years ago and kind of just let God take the wheel. When I got into my cargo van, saving, building the business up to get a bigger truck and eventually build on to the fleet. But I'm just loving the experience and growing at a rapid speed, So,
yo, let me ask you this, brother. How do you go? Because you're in New York City, man, and I know it is crazy trying to find parking, traffic, wildness. Nobody's nice over there. I used to be in the Diamond District for many years, and I used to dread going over there every day, bro. It was just mayhem. So how do you do it, bro? Like I couldn't even imagine. Like, how do you fit your truck? Where do you park and stuff?
Man, honestly, that's just a part of the game here. You know what I mean? There's certain sacrifices that you're just going to have to take. And I kind of budget that into all my estimates when I go on the job sites. I sometimes I try to have one of the workers stay with the van, but a lot of the times I'm on jobs, solo. So I take the ticket. I pray to God. I leave the van there. I leave my doors open, and I go do my thing really quick. And it's been working. I've got a couple tickets, but like I said, that's part of the game, So you just chalk it up to the game. So
I got stories, man.
I gotta say, bro, it is so crazy. Like, I know a lot of other places are nuts, but I just know New York City, man, when it comes to like the traffic, it was so wild, bro, that I went and got a driver just to go in because I couldn't deal with trying to find. I'd literally have to park like a mile away just to walk to my office. Mind you, I was right on Times Square. I was in 46th Street on the wholesale block.
Yeah, they have
the Diamond District.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big problem out here. But you got to look for other solutions. They have certain programs out here where they have people that have like a valet inside New York City. So you can, reach out to them, kind of reserve a spot in the area. If you could, do the logistics work ahead of time and find out where you're going to be at, and utilize that valet so that way you can get a parking or have somebody hold a spot for you. They have some different apps and things like that. Some of the parking garages out here are helping us with those type of apps and features. So just look for them, and do your best. Like I said, it's great if you have an extra worker with you, so that way they can stay in the truck and hold it down. But sometimes you just gotta take that risk, man.
Yeah, I got to ask you, brother, have you tried a CRM, man? Have you looked into Autopilot? I know Andrew Thompson just left and all, but I'm going to play Andrew Thompson right now. So
Yeah, I've seen them.
That Autopilot?
Yeah, I've been in tune with it. I haven't signed up. I actually looked at it. I was going through a couple of videos and I saw it, and I'm actually interested in signing up. Think that the beginner's package could be a good step for me to help be an extra tool to add to the arsenal and getting out there and getting these jobs.
Hell yeah. I think he has a special until tomorrow too, man. I think you get like a whole coaching thing with it, and it's all you got to do is sign up for the beta test. I think it's $49 a month, and it comes with this whole training thing too. I think that ends tomorrow and all, but I'm going to be part of it. I'm definitely going to join in and check out his classes and all that. I'll be checking that out. And Jamie, that just hit me. I remember you made a post during the week, and you were looking to just get some insight and all, and I should have I didn't know Andrew was going to be popping out. It would have probably been great to bring it up when Andrew was on and all. Yeah. But do you want to share it with everybody else, and or
we can do it next time so he can answer like that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, all it was is she just wants like some clarification and details on Autopilot and things that you can do and all. And it kind of slipped my mind when Andrew was there. We had everybody coming on, but next time on the Junk Family, we'll bring it up and we'll definitely get you that info that you need.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, definitely look forward to it.
Hell yeah, we got a whole company junk removal. Looking forward to the Autopilot coaching. Hell yeah, man. See you over there. Where are you located? Let me know in the comment what state you're in over there. And Drew's got the Autopilot app right there for Andrew Thomas for everybody to check out. Hell yeah. So guys, another thing that I just wanted to like kind of touch on and all, I'm still learning like kind of what goes on in junk removal. And, I've been seeing like two sides to like the junk removal industry. You got the side where you got everybody that wants to, help each other. And, there's coaching and there's all different kinds of things that you can sign up for. And, if you want to help, it's out there and it's being offered. But then I also seeing like, like another side where it's like they're very negative to anybody that's offering any kind of services. And I just want to give a quick example. I ran across it yesterday. I was over at the gym last night. I think it was like 9 o'clock on the West Coast and all. And when I'm doing my cardio, a lot of times I'll jump on YouTube and just see who's live. So I seen somebody go live and I didn't recognize the name, and I was just in the mood to talk. So I popped in on the live, and it was somebody over in I think Houston, Texas, at junk removal. They've been running 4 years, and they were just like wanting to ask questions, like answer questions, so anybody could ask questions. So I just wanted to like just talk and bring up some questions and all. So one of the questions I asked, I was like, "You're gonna come over to the Junk Expo in October?" Well, when I did that, they just went off the handle. They were just like insulted that I did that. And they're like, why would I need my hand held by some coaches that think they know better? I've been in this 4 years. I know it all. I've got 4 trucks, and kind of just like started trying to sun me in a way too. Like who was I to even like question them? And I'm like, yo, bro, like chill, man. Like, I'm new in this industry, but I'm very successful in many other businesses. You know what I mean? So like, I know success, my man, and I know how to find it and all, and I kind of was just trying to like tell him like, I'd be open to learning from everybody. Nobody knows it all, and you could always learn, from everybody's strengths. So, some of the people in there knew me in the chat. So they're like, yo, forget about it on. We should have like a talk about this. So I'm like, yeah, I would love to come on. So anyways, I get on there and all, and I kind of just give my side of like how I go into industries, and I always learn from the best, and it speeds up the process so much. Usually it takes people 5 years what I could do in 2 to 3 years going at that formula. And I've did it so many times that I'm pretty confident in any industry that I could do that. So, I kind of just explained them. I told them about the concerts I used to throw, hip hop concerts, and the marijuana business and all. Now I got his attention. Now he realizes like, oh shit, all right, this dude's for real and everything. by the end of the conversation, he was like, yo, bro, I'll definitely, I might be coming out to the expo, man. I might meet you there. And I was like, yes, I changed that whole negativity away, but I just wanted to address it out there. You know what I mean? And I just want to you don't have to be paying for services and hiring coaches and all. If that's not your thing, that's fine. That's great. But there is a lot of people out there that get value from that. And I'm one of them. And I'll be the first one to admit that. And I come from a background where I have many businesses and I know different industries. And, I usually find success in anything I get into. But I'm still the first one to tuck that ego away and learn from others. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Bruce Lee in martial arts. He always took from different arts and he incorporated himself and put his own style on it. And that's how I've always carried myself in all business. And, I don't care. Even when I teamed up with my concert partner, this guy was no joke. He's worth $150 million, 70-year-old Jewish man and all. This guy's got everything you could imagine in life and all. And he was one of the guys that always preached that to me. And he would go and meet with people that are not even close to his worth. And he would always listen and learn. It didn't matter who you were. He could learn from anybody. So I just want to make that point out there for everybody in this industry, because I see a lot of people that are like Debbie Downers, and they get offended with the coaches. I even seen a couple people in my area. They made comments and all and said things. And I'm one of those guys. I go straight back at people. I don't hide nothing. I'm not scared of nobody. If you come at me, I'm going to come right back at you and say what's on my mind too. I have no fear of that. I like ruffling feathers sometimes too.
That's that East Coast behavior.
That's it, bro. I walk a straight line in life, man. You choose if you want to walk around me or not.
Hey, Paul.
What's up, Kevin?
I just held up a piece of paper that said the number 14 on it.
Okay.
That's the number of mentors and coaches that Elon Musk has had.
Everybody can learn from somebody. I don't
exactly. Even Elon Musk uses mentors, coaches, Bill Gates, all these most successful people use business coaches. And they'll pay tens of thousands of dollars for this, for a business coach, because it helps them. You have to have a mentor. Not everybody knows anything.
Mentorship is a huge part of life, man.
100%, man.
So check it out, Paul. It's like this. One of my best connections I made was 3 years ago at the Junk Con. I flew out there. I met Andrew. Now me and Andrew are boys now. He's launching the CRM. I'm an investor. I'm pushing that. Last year, I met up with you before the expo. We made that connection. Now I'm an investor in some crypto. You game me up on that. We're trying to make money. The connections we're all go-getters. You're going to be in a room with a bunch of go-getters.
I've had people say that too, Matt.
You know what I mean? Yep.
People say that too, like, what is the point in going? But the thing is like, you may see people like this online, right? I watched you guys, all of you, and you may see that. But when you meet somebody that's going through the same shit you're going through and dealing with the same things, you can learn from each other and grow together. And that's just gold. It just is. It is.
Hell yeah. And I want to say shout out to Julio. Julio is in the house. He says, hello, family. How you guys doing? Sorry, I'm a little late. And Julio, I want to answer this, bro, because it came up on my notification on the phone and I was in the middle of a couple of things. You were asking where I got my shirts done and all. Hit me up, brother, on Facebook, and I'll hook you right up, man. I got connections over in like Pakistan and all from all my arm wrestling days and all. I get stuff so damn cheap and over there. So, I could definitely hook you up with that. Or if anybody else needs some info, I got the hook up over there. Andrew says, hey, Junk family, just starting out here. What's a good way to do electronic card payments? So guys, who wants to handle that question right there?
Is that Mr. Yee in the corner back there, down there?
Mr. Yee in the house. DJ Clue in the house, man.
He snuck up on us.
Got the Bay Area in the house.
Yo. I think the video in chat answered that.
Oh, did he?
Yee. Can you guys hear me by chance?
We can hear you, Andrew.
I'm cooking some chicken, some healthy chicken, and some asparagus, my man. So I'm staying healthy, bro. But I wanted to jump back in because somebody let me know that Jamie had a question, and I can maybe answer it really quick. What was your question, Jamie?
Perfect.
My mind just went blank. I know that I was asking a bunch of questions online the other day, but basically, I had asked before, how does it help you, autopilot help you when you're a one-man person, what all it does. And basically my thing is everybody keeps saying the same thing. And this kind of I want to know what all it does. But like, what happens if, like, say something happens, like what happened to me in my brain, right? So what if you miss a payment? Can you back up that data, like all your contacts and stuff?
Yeah,
You know,
so
or,
everything is saved in the whole new world of the cloud, right? So you'll
Mhm.
never lose your data with us ever. So
All right.
like if you ever forgot something, that's the whole beautiful thing about a CRM is if you were to like lose your phone or your notebook or you would lose it forever if your laptop got stolen
Mhm.
and you had it on like a file on your desktop or something.
Mhm.
With a CRM, your data is safe forever, right?
All right.
So
So I'm not going to say who we worked with, but somebody had an app that we used to work with, right? And something happened with my ex, blah, blah, blah. Well, we lost all those contacts. So that wouldn't happen. Like
no.
we ourselves have a way to back that
Yeah.
information up.
Yep. You can download all your data from out if you want to
Okay.
download it on the computer, but there's so many so here there's a misconception of there's no benefit if you're a one-man show.
Mhm.
I'm gonna message you personally because I can go
Right.
on for hours and I don't want to
Right.
hold everybody up.
I
But
think you need to do a video like so you look up workies, right? Can you do a comparison of what your program does versus like
yeah,
workies?
I just posted it last week. I did a
Did you?
comparison against Workies,
Okay,
yes.
okay. I missed
And
it. See?
and a comparison against House Call Pro and a comparison against
Okay.
Jobber.
Send me that
Yeah.
stuff.
But
Because I really want
so
to know.
I will end it with this. I'll say this plain and simple, guys. Okay, a CRM. If you don't think there's no benefit just because you're a one-man show, maybe not Workies or whatever because it's too expensive, but we're $50 a month. If you don't think having everything in one central place and being organized and having and starting a client database from the beginning and just being able to look professional, invoice customers and have online booking, and you don't think that's going to benefit you from the beginning,
No,
I
I
don't
do
know what to.
invoices.
Yeah.
I do invoices and I keep everything on Google, Google Apps
So
and Counter.
there's
But I just want to know the difference. Like,
yeah.
what all
So
it is.
there's a lot of differences, and I'll send you the video because I don't want to hold up the live, but
That's fine.
I just wanted to come in and just say, hey, like
No, I
it's definitely
appreciate it,
worth.
man.
And I'll message you. I'll message you soon. And there is something also I want to say to you, Paul, that I wish I could do.
Hold on. Before you leave, and we got one more question. Andrew, when is the autopilot crash course for those of us who joined the coaching program? It's tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's a banger coaching program. I built out an entire coaching program for 6 months going over. Dude, guys, I have a secret surprise in this coaching program. Not a single person has talked about how to get 10,000 USPS postcards sent to people's houses, 10,000 EDVM cards for free. And that would normally cost you $5,000. So I'm teaching that in the coaching, how to do every door direct mail by USPS for free, 10,000 houses. I'm teaching the Foursquare market, like it starts tomorrow. Today's the last day to sign up for Autopilot or you don't get access. So snooze, you lose.
Ramrican, you heard that,
Paul,
brother. So tomorrow's
Yeah.
the cutoff, brother.
Paul,
Yeah,
I
I'm
wanted
gonna
to
sign
also
up by tomorrow, definitely.
All right,
Paul,
perfect.
I wanted to say something to you too.
What's up, brother?
You know how you just said you don't take shit. You like if somebody comes at you, come at them.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I wish I didn't have to maintain the Autopilot CEO image because there's a couple people I wish I could ruffle some feathers too, but I can't. I'm gonna leave it at that. And hey, I'm gonna eat my beautiful chicken. Paul, thank you dude. Paul, I love how you've been bringing the community together. It's so awesome.
Thanks,
What
brother.
you're doing is you're truly making a family. I love it. And hey, Matt, you are the homie now. Like we've gone from acquaintances to friends, I believe. So
Yeah,
one day,
now I can talk shit to you when you send me stuff.
yeah. And then what?
That's how you know we're
You know,
homies.
you're Matt's buddy when he just slings shit at you.
Yeah, if I call you a fat ass or whatever, I like you. You know what I mean? It's all good.
The shit talking is how you show.
Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys. I'm gonna
Do it.
Toodles.
I love when he says that. So we got to answer this for my boy Andrew in here. So what's the best way for electronic card payments? What I'm thinking is Clover payments for the credit card. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I second that. Clover for sure.
Clover's good. Yeah.
Yo, who could get us to Clover? Because I've been asking Andrew, and it's been taking a while for it to happen. Yeah. So is there anybody that's hooked up with Clover or anything? I could get this going right away? Because I want to get that.
It'd probably be cheaper through Andrew, or you can get them off Amazon for a couple $100.
Okay.
If you go straight through Clover, they're going to try to tax you and charge you like $600 or $700.
Yeah, it was like 700.
I use the Clover, but I use the Clover app, so I don't have to pay for the card reader. I have the app and then pay by go.
So
So
like
when
a
I go to
QR code.
when I
Right.
go to clients' houses, I just tap their Visa, MasterCard, American Express on my phone, and it goes automatically in. So I don't pay for the Clover reader. But
Nice.
I also don't have the benefit to have the paper receipt or the tip thing. But I don't have to pay for the Clover
But
reader every
Mr.
month.
Yee, you got to listen. Go over that interview I did yesterday with Junk Police out of New Jersey. Go over to Nick Police's Facebook. He just put it out today. How to avoid the credit card fees and how to put it right on the bill of the client. And they never have a problem. He's been doing it 2 years. Not one person has ever said, and it just so that all those fees don't at the end of the year come back and you got to pay for all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Oh, wow.
he has a whole video. It's very, very good, very smart how he had that set up.
I do highly suggest that if you haven't, to grab the Clover Flex, because it's a good size. You're not gonna lose it. It's a good size. It does print out a receipt, so you just print it out and hand it. And the tip option is super big, and your tips will increase tenfold. Like you'll get so many more tips with the Clover Flex.
That's the benefit of the Clover. That's why everybody seems to pick the Clover, because when you hand it over to them for the sign or okay, it has a screen that says, would you like to tip them? Or, you know what I mean? And you're right there in front of them, so a lot of times they want to just give you a tip and all that. So it definitely, like the employees and all, or if you're on the truck, you'll definitely receive a lot more tips. I've definitely heard that a lot. So, Mr. Yee, let's talk, brother. What's been going on down in your neck of the woods, man? How's business going?
I'm in my backyard, Northern California. It's real beautiful out here. The sun is good. Spring is here. Spring is around the corner. We had 2 jobs today, 2 easy pickups. $500 bill within less than an hour of work. It's picking up, and the good weather. We're out here in Solano County, Northern California, and we're just getting it, and we're putting our footsteps in the sand, and making our own moves, and building our brand, letting our community know who we are, becoming a factor in our area, and the phone is ringing, and that's just it.
That's the best
Hell
thing.
yeah. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, brother, but we got the last 2 days. We had 80-degree weather. I hear tomorrow we're dropping down 20 degrees, and I think we're going to get rain the next couple of days. So
no problem. Because tomorrow I got a full load pickup in the morning. Let it rain or shine. I'm gonna get that money.
yeah, baby, I love it.
So,
Yeah,
Getting
we've
that
been raining.
money.
We've
It's
been
always
raining
sunny
over
when
here.
it's getting that money.
I love it. I love it when it rains, because when it rains, everything gets messed up and people's shit looks even worse. Let's
Yeah,
go.
word. Yes, sir.
And another one. I love it.
True.
Yo, we
So,
got
hey, we're going to check out
in
right
the
now.
house.
We're going to take off, Paul.
Oh, thank you, Sonoma Strong, for coming in. And guys, tomorrow, let me know where you guys are. Just shoot me a text. I want to pop by. I got a little surprise for you guys.
All right, sounds good for sure. Cool. Yeah, we have a bunch of jobs we got to tackle tomorrow, and then I'll hit you up once I get off. Are you going to be around, or where are you going to be at?
Yeah, I got a couple of jobs, but I mean, they're all local around the area, so we might be in the same neck of the woods or whatever. So
Do me a favor, stay out my hood, bro.
This guy.
No, hey, hit me up when you're in Santa Rosa. I'll be in Santa Rosa. We got a job in Santa Rosa. We have like 4 jobs in Santa Rosa tomorrow, so just hit me up.
Well, stay up in Santa Rosa. Don't cross that line over there. Anything south, I'll take care.
Hey, the real money's where you're at, though. That area over there.
Marin, Money County, baby. I love it.
It's like $44 a ton. He's winning out there.
Oh, shit.
No, April 1st, everything goes up. Even dump fees go up. Gas, everything goes up. So we finally just hit $80 a ton, $40 minimum, and free mattresses, tires, refrigerators, which I never bring because I don't bring metal to the dump. But we just finally got hit with this, the tax situation with the whole political. So
Yo,
I
where
don't
do you get
mind.
rid of your refrigerators, bro? If you don't mind telling your little
I don't,
secrets.
I don't mind paying 80, but anyways, all my refrigerators, all my scrap metal, I call my scrap metal guy, and he comes to my location and picks all of my metal up.
Yep.
Yo, Matt, we don't
I
got a
don't,
scrap metal guy up here, bro. I've been looking everywhere. Everybody keeps telling me about these scrap metal guy. Where
Bro,
are they, man? They
Get
hiding
Facebook.
from us?
Get
out here. It's
Facebook
expensive to
and
live out here
ask
in
if you're
Sonoma
scrap
County,
metal
bro.
guy.
you
Yeah,
here, okay, Paulie, Paul, this is what you do.
What do I got to do?
Paul, this is what you do. You have to go to your local scrap metal yard or your local recycle zone and sit there for 5 minutes and see the guy who pulls up with all the scrap metal and then tell him, forget
Yeah.
about it. You work for me now.
I'm making
That's a
you an
good
offer you
You
idea.
know what
can't
I'm talking
refuse,
about?
huh?
You know what I mean? You
Hey,
know
so
what I mean?
Paul, hit me up tomorrow when you're in Santa Rosa. Hit me up.
Okay, 100%, brother. Have a
Bye,
great
man.
night,
Bye,
guys.
Take it
JJ.
easy.
Bye.
Have a good one.
But that's how you do it, Paul. You got to go reach out to one of those dudes who are dropping off all that metal and say, hey, bro, I got a junk removal business. I need you. I can get tons of recycled scrap metal for you a week. And guess what? That guy will be calling you, meeting you at all of your
Oh
locations,
man,
and
I
you don't
love
got to
it.
put any of that into your trailer.
That's what's up, bro. That's
All
what
I
I've been
gotta do
looking for.
is put it on Facebook, you know, in your local groups, and man, you get like 10 people in no time. like seriously, but hey, that's a good idea. You know,
But I'm
we
trying to
don't.
tell you, these guys will come to your location.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I see that in all the other states. Everybody be posting that and they tell you to go look for that. And then I ask everybody out here, and they're like, no, we don't got nobody like that because they're saying the prices are real low. But you're in North Cal, bro. So I mean, they gotta be out here. But I'll find somebody, man. I'm on a mission now. I'm gonna go hunt them down.
You're still learning step by step. You're getting it.
That's it, bro. That's it. Little step by step. Yo, Matt Fitch, what is up, brother? How you doing tonight, bro?
What's up, man? I was trying to show you guys my phone, bro. I got this guy, like, I don't know, 10 years ago. He's still in my phone. Scrap Metal Freddy. Scrap Metal Freddy. I found him on Craigslist. So, like, I went on to Craigslist and trying to find the metal guy, you know, and I did exactly like what the other gentleman was saying. You know, you just basically tell them, be like, hey, you know, I got a shitload of metal, and they'll come to your location. So anytime I got on a big job, I'd separate my metal, or I wouldn't even separate it. Sometimes, you know, you just call Scrap Metal Freddy, send him a text.
Come right in there and get it for you. Yep.
That's
Yeah,
the first thing I did when I moved is I got these people set up, you know, that do certain things that I don't want to deal with, right? So like move it to the curb or the property, whatever. Don't let them on the property because that's your job, right? But move it to the curb and have them come get it, you know, and you don't have to worry about it.
Love it.
Yep.
We got a question I got to hit on from this is from way back, you know, but we were getting into customer service time. So from MM232, he says, any insights to Google Ads 2025? Heard they are falling off. I am in a big city. So let us know what city you are in, because I think that definitely does matter on your market. And, you know, if you got like the big boys and the franchises in your area. But what's everybody's thoughts on Google Ads in 2025?
You
I don't do
gotta
them.
pay to play.
Matt would be your guy to probably ask, but I've never used them. But I've heard just, you know, the big gurus and stuff with Google that they kind of are, you know, downplaying. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I definitely think they're trending down. You know, the volume of ads are down, the price is up.
It's oversaturated.
It's saturated. There's other platforms now that people are getting jobs from, and so 10 or 15 years ago it was just Google. Like we could show up, we could spend $1,000, you could spend $2,000 a month and turn like 20 or 30 a month in sales from it. Like, not joking, like that's really what it was. And so like when people come in and, you know, like they're happy to get 4x ROI, you know, 3, 4, 5x ROI on Google ads. And I think it's just having the right expectation. If you're in an area where Got Junk is spending 15 grand a month, you're probably going to have to spend 10 grand a month if you want to get some decent ads, because if you spend 2 grand a month, Google's going to eat your fucking budget up and give you the crappy leads at the bottom of the barrel. And you're going to be sitting there with $0 in your account and no jobs.
Yes.
The
So
one
it's
thing I
like
gotta
you gotta-
say though, Matt, because I don't want to totally scare people off with that, is I see like even on like a bad week, you're still gonna get the 2x. You're still gonna get your return
Mhm.
and all. And the way that I'm looking at it, it matters where you are with your business. If you're in the beginning building stages like myself, I'm just adding to my logbook. This way I could do the SMS campaigns eventually, and so yeah, I might not be making that much off the front. Maybe it's only a 2x this week and all, but I'm adding to my overall and I'm building my brand awareness and all that. So I'm
I
not
don't think-
losing money.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise
you
stopping
use-
doing it. I think that the Google ads are a great lead
Yeah, I
source.
mean, I get
It's
good
just
good
not-
drops off of Google. Yeah.
It's just not what it was. And so like the people that used Google ads 10 or 15 years ago, they say it's broken and it's dead. Well,
Yeah.
if you're comparing it to what it was 10 years ago, sure, I guess you could say that. But no, it's very much a viable lead source. But just going into it with the right expectations, you got to be willing to spend enough, to compete. You want to run them efficiently. Like Xavier, he's
Mhm.
dude knows what he's talking about with Google ads. Go find out what him and Andrew are talking about with Google ads, and they'll probably tell you what you need to know. I'm not the Google ads guy. Like
I think you definitely need
I
a
also,
professional.
I also want to let other people know it's not just Google ads you want to look into too. There's other ways. You got Google Guarantee is another great, when you're first beginning, and it might be better to go with the Google Guarantee. You know what I mean? Because you're guaranteed to get a certain amount of business and all that, and it kind of just gets things going and all that. So that's something to look into. And then other platforms, and what I want to start experimenting with is a lot of people have like Angie's List is no good, so everybody knows that now in junk removal. But the way I'm thinking about it is like that's what I'm looking for, what everybody else is not going after, because the leads are going to be so much cheaper. So yeah, it could be maybe a year ago Angie leads sucked. Maybe now, like, because nobody else is doing them, they're actually bing bling bling. You know what I mean? The other thing is like, what about Bing?
There's always a dip. There's always a dip. You gotta take advantage of it.
Thumbtack too, man. I just talked to a guy. Like the reason I wasn't able to join you guys on time.
The Thumbtack and next door.
Yes, I was just interviewing a guy who said he started his whole business on Thumbtack, and it's all about how much effort you put into it. Like if you put enough time and effort and you create systems and you follow up with leads and you answer the leads immediately, and like you put some effort into growing that profile on that platform, you're going to do better, and so if you're systematic about it and you're diligent, then you're probably going to do all right.
Yeah, that's what's key. Everybody can put up a Google ad, but what are you doing to push it?
Yeah,
you
got to be
proactive.
driven about everything you do.
I want to give an example too of like, this happens in almost every industry, and a lot of people get spoiled, and then then they start talking down on it. And I'm hearing that with the Google ads. And what this makes me think is everybody's like, the golden age of 10 years ago with Google ads, you're making 20x on them, and they were amazing then, and now we're mad we're only making 4x and all. Well, it was the same thing in the marijuana business. I've been in from day one. 10 years ago, we were making 5,000-6,000 a pound. Like it was ridiculous.
Wow.
Now we're making 400 to 600 a pound. Big difference. So you gotta change your game up, and but the way I'm looking at it is I'm still making a ton of money. You just gotta up your size now, So rather than doing the way I was, rather than having one farm, I went with 5 outdoor farms with the biggest permit, to supplement to make the same kind of money. And it's kind of like the same thing I'm hearing with Google ads, because if like in the marijuana business, we all talk, oh, it sucks these days. I remember we were making 5,000-6,000 a pound, and it was, what I mean? Yeah, that was great, but you just got to adapt, to the times. You got to evolve and figure new ways to make the money and all. And that's all it is. Maybe Google's not that, 20x return, but maybe there's something else that could be. What about Bing? Has anybody mess with the platform Bing?
Bing?
My business is listed on
Bing.
there, but that's it.
Microsoft ads on Bing are pretty.
Might not be
Microsoft ads.
Yeah, I want to start. I want to start experimenting with different platforms, and like just like I said, when people talk shit about these other platforms, now I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go try that as soon as I get off here. That's gonna be this week's project and everything.
What was the platform you just started one the other day? You said you were gonna go on. What was it?
Well, I did Craigslist. I've been doing Craigslist in my
No.
area for the last 2 weeks, but I just want to explain this. I haven't seen anything with Craigslist, and I think it's because my area, there's like 3 people that they must be putting like $40-$50 a day out there, and they're
Yeah.
just dominating the whole
Multiple
Craigslist.
people, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm putting up $20 through the day, so that's $5 each. My 4 ads are just getting demolished by how many more. So it got frustrating. I'm like, all right, there's too much competition on this platform. Now let me try something else. So I started looking at Yelp, and with those leads and all, and I'm like, and I'm hearing a lot of people are saying they're schemes, they're scams.
Yeah,
with
there's
that
a big
and all
problem
that.
with Yelp.
Yeah, they took $500 from me. If you don't if you do the free trial and you don't cancel it in 30 days, literally the lady told me, I was like, can I talk to a supervisor? Because they took $500 from me a day before I was supposed to cancel, right? And she said, she started laughing at me and said, they're not going to give you your money back. And I'd be damned. If you say anything bad about Yelp is they're great. They're great. Let's just say that. But if you say anything bad about them, you're done. It's the way it is with Yelp.
Yeah, Yelp is trash, and I'll stand on that, and I'll tell them to their face. They scam me out of a lot of stuff, and they're still knocking on the door looking for the payment, and they're not gonna get it.
But they non-stop call you too. They drive me nuts, and they don't tell you they're advertising at first. They always try tricking you.
No, the problem is,
I'm like, this is what I say now. You got 10 seconds to sell me on whatever you're selling. If you don't, I'm hanging up. That's it. You got 10 seconds. Sell me right now.
I think not to cut anybody off, but I think it's the yee. I think a lot of people who watch us on social media, a lot of people are just scared to admit that yes, I pay for a lead. I think a lot of people
I asked that. What are the lead generators?
Hang on. I think a lot of people are just so nervous to say, hey, I pay for a lead. Hey, I'm on Google. Hey, I'm on Yelp. And at the end of the day, you can't get mad at the next person who hit it with a bigger budget. That's just what it is. You got to pay to play. And in this age and era, everybody has a cell phone on them. Everybody's junk removal near me. And guess what? As soon as somebody goes on Google junk removal near me, 3 things down is Yelp.
Yeah.
Boom. So you gotta play teeter-totter. It takes time to figure this out. But once you master it, oh man, I'm trying to tell you. Paulie, Northern California,
it's a lot of empty false leads and shared leads, recycled leads that are shared, right? And when you send your message back to them or you reach out to those leads, there's nobody there. It's a ghost lead, So let's be transparent. You know what I mean? Nobody. And I tell them when they call me, I said, listen, I don't mind spending money to make money. That's the game. You know what I mean? That's how we're gonna grow. But don't bullshit me. Don't send me leads that there's nothing there where I'm sharing it. I'm calling with 10 other people. If I'm paying for somebody, let that be something that's my lead.
We're looking at haulers just like you.
And that's the thing where you're gonna learn how Yelp feeds you those ads and 5 other people. But then Google, you're going straight to the source. But I'm trying to tell you, I'd rather be on top on the front page and get it first. And it's just this time and era, you better hit it with a bigger budget, baby. And that's just it, because you got to pay to play it. It's going to hurt when you see that other guy driving by going to the dump with a full load. But guess what? He's up there. You know what I mean? And a lot of us are just so frustrated with Yelp, frustrated with Google. But in this time and era, everybody's on their phone, just wop. And yes, we see Facebook, people spam Facebook, people advertise all over Facebook, do this. But honestly, a lot of people that I talk to all the time, the first thing I ask is when I talk to them, how did you hear about me?
Yeah.
Oh, Google, oh, Yelp, oh, Google, oh, Yelp. So that's just it. Over here in Northern California, we are the tech capital. We are Northern California where everybody's on their phone. They pull up to Safeway and Safeway walks out and brings your groceries to you. That's just how we have it out here. And that's how technology has helped the Bay Area, Northern California, Petaluma, the 707, Sonoma. I'm not saying you guys in in the East Coast, but like other things work good for the East Coast. Those other apps, Home Advisors, Thumbtack. I talk to a lot of people around the world. The
Yeah.
Yee talks to a lot of
DJ
people
Khaled in
who,
the
you know what I
house,
mean?
baby.
Hello, and a
That's
lot
what
of
it.
people tell me,
Sure.
"Hey, Thumbtack is working for me. Home
Yeah, that's what
Advisors
it is.
working for
Yeah,
me."
Different
I'm just
market, different
telling you,
apps work for
I get
different
it.
markets.
Like
in
next door
different
used to work
areas.
from Phoenix next door. Like in here, of course, I'm in Kentucky. Nothing works really out, but like Phoenix, you could get jobs off there all day long. Here, no, it depends upon where you are. You know what I mean? But I've never used like Thumbtack and all that, and I would like to know about people's experiences with it, but people don't share that. Like you were saying, everybody uses the different legs in this business, but why won't we admit that? You know what I mean?
Sometimes you got to test the water before you jump in and just
Yeah.
test it out for yourself. You
Good.
got to see what works for you. Like,
And a lot of people are at competition, and you know,
yes,
Yeah.
there's two different ways to look at it. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't like to share their secrets and all that, and you know, I come across that in a lot of the arm wrestling world. It was like the
Yeah.
old school guys; they don't want to share their tips and tricks, and I'm finding that in a lot in junk removal, where
Yep.
the newer guys all are sharing their, you know, experiences and all that. So it's two different worlds to go at. But I do got to catch up on some questions on here in the chat. I've been lacking. We got from Sippy Halls. He says, how do you handle situations where pets are present in areas where junk removal is taking place? So Bean, I want you to answer that because you've been quiet over there. How do you handle when pets are present in the area?
Okay, yeah. This is a good question because I don't really do any Google or anything, so I've been kind of quiet, guys. But we are doing a job tomorrow for a rescue. They're a nonprofit organization, and we're going to be removing a couch that was illegally dumped there. So, like, we have a really big heart for animals and stuff, and I love animals. Like, I'm the kind of girl that will kiss your animal in the face because I just trust them. But for work, like setting my guys out, like there's jobs out here. I live in Gary, Indiana. I mean, the fences are all broken. I'll go to a bid and you'll see a big old pit bull just barking at you, and the fence is broken, and you know that they could just jump right through. Some of the jobs I will not accept out here just because of that. I'm not going to risk my guys getting hurt. And I know these people are backyard breeders and their dogs aren't cared for. There's a lot of dog fighting going on out here. So if the job looks too sketchy, I will pass on doing the job because it's just not worth like anybody getting hurt. If the pet's inside the house, I ask, put it in a room or in a cage or something while we do the job, because you still can't trust, a dog coming and seeing you guys, new people touching all their stuff and taking it away and how they're gonna feel, So I just keep the dogs away. If they're in there, if you see a bunch of dogs running around houses outside and it don't look safe, leave. Like there's no amount of money worth getting bit or attacked. My brother, he was just recently attacked by like 2 cane corsos. So it's pretty scary out here with big vicious dogs and stuff. So we're just passing on those jobs.
Yeah.
Holding Company says, how do I manage my holding business while also having a full-time job? Does anybody have a full-time job as they're doing the holding business?
Or dispatching?
I had a full-time job. I was a public transit operator. I was the chief shop steward of our local union. I walked away from it because my passion, my phone was blowing, because I started this side hustle and my phone kept on blowing up. And guess what? Your body, your mind, your soul is going to tell you when it's time. And it's hard because when you start making $1,000 in less than an hour,
Yeah.
and then you go report for duty for 8 hours, and you're
Yeah.
just like, come on, man. You know what I mean? I'm doing
Yep.
overtime and I'm still
Yep.
not making it.
I think
Yep.
you got to
So
wait till it's consistent, though. Some people want to jump into, full time too soon. And I think you have to know, like you were saying, you got to balance it and you got to know when
Yeah.
you have enough.
Yeah, you got to balance. Definitely have to balance.
I walked away
can't
from
jump
it,
away.
and it was the best thing ever
Well,
because I took
yeah.
control of my life. I took control of my life and my time, because we're only here
Yeah.
a limited time.
And
We're
your
only
time is
here
your
a
most
limited
valuable thing you have is your time. It
We're
is.
Yeah, I
only
did the
here a
same thing.
limited
I
time.
did the same thing. I kind of just jumped in. I didn't have a full-time job. Kind of just made this my full-time job, and treated it as a full-time job. The same way I would go and apply for another job and go out there and start working and building, a paycheck over the week and building those hours. I'll do the same thing and treat it as a job, and you start learning, and managing your money and your jobs and how you pay yourself, and you start comparing.
But that's it right there, though, is you see that, though, honey. You see that. Most people are sitting there waiting for their phone to ring. You have to make this your full-time job. It's not going to work for you.
A lot of people think that. Yeah. They think that they're just going to put, a sign on their truck and sit back and stand by, and they're just going to come rolling in. And that's sorry to say, but that doesn't happen,
One thing I would throw in there is, just from being a multiple business owner, what I've always did in every industry that I've got in is I always learn everything about it firsthand.
Every hat.
But what I'm doing the whole time is setting that business up to run when I'm not there. And that's from day one, I'm learning how to do that. So I respect a lot of people want to stay on the truck and all that, but to do what I'm have right now and built my empire, and kind of I think that's what they're saying, having a full-time job and also running this business. The answer is to have your systems set up properly.
Matt, what was the speaker that you had, Matt, at the Mindset Matters? And what was his name? The Squirrely or whatever his name is?
Mike Sorelli?
Yes, Sorelli. Sorry for sliding that. But he said, what did he say? He said that the way, basically, way make it, but he had us raise our hands in the room of people. How many people's business could run for a year without them being there? And I raised my hand. How many people could their business run for 2 years without you being there? I was out for 2 years with a brain injury, and my business ran maybe not the way I wanted it to, but I think I was one of the only ones that could raise their hand and say that. And you would be the same way.
How did you manage to run it when you were out?
My ex did it poorly, but I had the business set up, the context set up and everything. So it's still running. I mean, we broke up, I left it, and it's still running. It's paying my bills here while I get started, but that made me feel like I did something right, because I'd never heard that before. Matt, he is such an intelligent man though. Yeah. And I'd never heard that before. But the fact that I looked around and nobody else was raising their hand, I think maybe somebody else was in the room, but you saw that, Matt, and that says something. And you got it right, Paul. You want that business, even if you're on the truck, you want it to be able, if something happens, like what happened to me, you have a brain injury, you want that business to keep running. And, like I said, not everything was run or is being ran the way I want it to be. Right. But still, it's bringing in money. He's still making a lot of money. It's paying my bills here while I get started here. But that's something to be proud of, Paul, that you have that mentality that you can keep a business going without you.
But what I'm saying though is the system set up so that that you're not on the truck no more, because you're not going to be able to run three other businesses. The way I have my other business, most people don't know that they're running every day. I mean, I have had a team, I do marijuana cultivation that runs itself. I check in maybe once a month. I just roll up on the property. I don't let anybody know I'm coming, kind of just check up on everything. My antique and collectible business, that's on the other side of the country in New York. I don't touch the day-to-day and all. I just check in, maybe every 2 weeks and just look at the books, make sure everything's running smooth and all. But
you got to be good at training those people, right? Kind of like Kevin Hess was saying, to get your manager, whatever, but you've got to be good at training those people, Paul, to be able to have that business run.
Yes, you have to be a good judge of character, and you got to give people their leeway and all, but also always check up on them. Make sure they're always doing the right thing. And a lot of times if you kind of you get too much trust in person and you kind of just give too much room, that's when the problems, occur. And I've definitely come across that. But when you do find somebody very good and that could, run the day-to-day for you, you pay them like no other. You treat them so good. Because they're the ones that make everything possible. And this makes it possible that I could go and start another business and get another income coming in. And then after this, just so you guys understand, I'm planning on opening these up in a couple other states. As I get those up and running, I figure out the formula. My next venture is I'm getting into my laundromats, which I've been going about for the last year and been in that community and all that. And that's my next move, will be opening up laundromats all over Florida, which I'm already connected in the industry. I was on everybody's podcast. You know, I was going really, really hard for 6 months every day looking for places and all. And it wasn't working out because of the area I was looking in South Florida. The deals weren't there. And then I came across junk removal and I was like, I'm going to jump right in this.
And you've been in junk removal for how long, Paul?
2 months my business has been running.
See, that's just crazy. You're like doing spectacular.
Yeah. Like I said, when the way my formula in any industry I get in is I learn from the best. I come a sponge, and normally it takes me about 2 to 3 years to do what other people take 5 years. And that's been in almost every industry I get in, man. So, you know, I'm figuring out the formula and it works, you know, and that's why I would just want to keep everybody positive. And, you know, if like coaching and, you know, some of these things that some of the people offers in junk removal aren't for you, you don't have to go negative against. You don't got to bad mouth it. Just that's not for you, and that's not how you learn. But others do, and I'm telling you, I'm one of those people. And believe me, I am the furthest thing from a sucker when it comes to my money. I love money. You know what I mean? So I hold on to it tight. But if I see, you know, I'm going to gain value in something, and it's an investment in myself, that makes sense to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, guys, I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight and being part of this junk family. It's just amazing, you know, to hear all the different perspectives, everybody from all over the country. And, you know, we get to hear all the different scenarios and all. And I just want to thank you guys for being a part of this show. I really cherish everything you guys share with us. Everybody in the chat, thank you for all the great questions and all. And, you know, I encourage next time, if you guys don't be so shy, come on, join. We had room, you know, we could fit 10 people on here, so we still had room on tonight. You know, last week, you know, we had 10 on the whole time and all, but we'll be doing this again in 2 weeks from now. I'm going to keep consistent with this, and I hope everybody comes back, and I hope everybody's seeing value in this. And would anybody like to shout out any of the platform? I'm going to go around the room and just kind of let you guys say your goodbye and just shout out whatever platforms you would like. So let's start off with the ladies first. Jamie, I would like to start off with you.
I don't really, you know, I don't really have a platform YouTube channel yet, but Jamie Face from moving forward cleanouts, and I have moving forward foreclosure cleanouts too in Phoenix. So just make your day amazing and never stop moving forward.
Hell yeah. Bean, let's go with you now.
You can find me on Facebook. My personal is Bean Burgos. You can follow me on there. And then my business page is Merica Junk Boss. And then I'm also on TikTok. I like that one a lot too.
Oh.
Hell yeah. And I just want to say, guys, make sure you follow Bean over there. I mean, they really set a great example of what to do in your area as far as networking with people and just helping and giving back to the community. And I see that as one of your strengths, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm taking notes, and, you know, I'm going to try to implement it in North Cal over here, and, you know, just get more connected with my town just because of just things I see you guys doing.
Yeah.
Sarah and Vinny, I'd like you guys to shout at you guys out right now.
Yeah, we're Loadrunners Junk on all platforms, and loadrunnersjunk.com is our website.
Do you have a YouTube?
So April is gonna be our 1 year. So we have a couple of videos, but it's more like geared towards the customer. But in April, we're gonna do like our 1 year overview of business. So I'm gonna officially start like our YouTube.
All right. Yeah, I need to start too. I was just wondering. I wanted to know.
Very cool. Looking forward to that. Ram Rican, brother, my New York homie over there.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out, bro.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate it. Like I said earlier, I look forward to, you know, more to come. I appreciate the platform right now. Appreciate you guys letting me on. My business is Ram Rican Junk Haul Pros on every platform across Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. I've been on YouTube for a couple of years now, you know, and I started the YouTube channel just shedding light on the gig work environment or economy. And that's how I got into the cargo van business and started my junk removal business. So I look forward to continuing growing and sharing my experiences with you guys, man.
Hell yeah. Mr. Yee in the house, a.k.a. DJ Khaled in the house. What's up, brother?
What's going on? Paul, thank you for having us on. and I'm creating this situation for all of us to come together and connect like Legos, and we can stack that money like Egos. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? But
Yes, sir.
you guys can catch me on. You already know this is the Yee Yee. You guys can catch me on, YouTube, No Limit Hauling and Junk Removal. You guys can catch me on TikTok, No Limit Hauling. You can catch me on Facebook where I post all my pictures with all my jobs. You guys can catch me on Instagram. You know what I mean? No Limit Hauling. You guys can catch me in my neighborhood pushing that trailer. It's just it's a blessing. It's beautiful. And you guys, thank all of you out there who support the Yee Yee. I swear it's just a blessing that when I see you guys. What's up to Sarah? What's up to Vinny? What's up to everybody on there? What's up to Sarah and Vinny's kids who are listening right now? You know what I mean? It's the Yee Yee.
I love it, man. And Jeffrey, between Yee, Andrew, and myself, we look like a group of sumo wrestlers.
Hey, sumo wrestlers get paid. They're idolized. They're idolized.
Yeah, hell
They
yeah.
get paid.
I was just telling my granddaughter the other day, I want to get some of those sumo wrestling suits. I'm like, seriously, have some fun.
Matt Fitch, brother, shout out those platforms, man.
Hey, what's up, Paul? Thank you so much for having me on here, brother. I'm sorry that I was a little late, but I double booked on another call, so glad I got to jump in here. This is an awesome group. This what you're doing here is great. So I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody. But again, my name is Matt Fitch. I ran a junk removal company for almost 15 years. I sold it in 2023 so I could go all in on Junk Blitz Pro. So I do websites and marketing for junk haulers, junkblitzpro.com. I'm on YouTube at Matt Fitch. And I just launched a new podcast on Spotify, the Junk Blitz Pro Show. So that's airing Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Nice.
Hell yeah. And I just want to say to everybody, guys, you don't have to be here at the beginning of the show. This is a very laid back show. If you guys just got 5 minutes to pop on when the Junk Family's on, just to say a quick hello. If you're out in the car, you're on your way to dinner, check in, tell us what you're doing. This is what we're here for, man. This is like a networking thing. We all getting to know each other. We're like a big family and all. No serious talking here. We can get serious if we want, but this is a laid back party, everybody invited. So with that being said, it was a great show. We'll be returning in 2 weeks. If you guys are interested in fitness at all, get over to Paul Italia Fitness channel. I'm going crazy with that right now. Also, Andrew Losing Weight is his new YouTube channel. Andrew's going to be showing his journey as well. So lots of fitness going on in the junk removal world. We're all going to be ripped in bodybuilding look for the Junk Expo in October, baby. Let's get it, guys. All right, guys. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Later, everybody.
Have a good one.